Kwame Ansakwe of the Hope Marie Academy. This is from your father, Kwesi Labi Ansakwe of Latte Ekwapim. Happy birthday to you. Also, happy birthday to Richard Jeche. This is from Senior Blair B. George Okwabi and all your friends, Sammy, everyone else. To you, Richard, happy birthday to you. Also, happy birthday to Nanama Alasan Trewa at the Judicial Service here in Accra. More blessings to you. To Monica Ifia Bisa at Anaji Takra. This is from your husband, Sami Tuga. And this morning, we are delighted to have the presence of Ni Odotei Kwao II. He is the head of the Ni Odotei Kwao family of Osu. Ni, good morning. Mi Bamanye.
Manye Abrao.
Oh, if you forward, enche. Ni, how does the Odotei family come into all this conversation about Achimota Forest and periphery, as we are told? How does the Odotei family come into
Odotei Kwao family.
Odotei Kwao family.
Odotei Kwao family.
Yeah, right.
So we come in so many ways. You know, the new Odotei Kwao family owns a large tract of land called the Akanecho lands.
Okay.
It has its southern end at a place called Owengong. Owengong is the Accra campus of the University of Ghana.
Okay.
Where you have the museum.
By Accra Poly.
By Accra Poly, yes. It used to be a tall hill, but it was broken down. The stones were used to fix most of the Accra roads.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's Owengong.
Owengong.
Okay.
Owengong.
Okay.
Yes, our land starts from there and a little into the Achimota Forest.
Okay.
Anything from that place, through Asylum down, including the place we are here, all the way down, on the ridge runabout, anything on your left, up to the
forest.
Into the forest, a little into the forest.
And that's where you call the Akanecho.
Akanecho lands.
Okay.
It's called Akanecho lands because it's Kanecho.
Okay.
Kanecho is
firewood.
Kanecho is the flamboyant tree.
Ah, okay.
The flamboyant tree. You know, it flowers.
Right.
During this period, it flowers. So when you go into the forest, we call it the flame of the forest.
Ah, it's beautiful.
It looks like there is a flame in the forest. And yes.
How did your family, the Ni Odotei Kwao family, take this whole conversation about giving off portions of the forest or periphery of the forest to the Owu family? Are they related to you?
They are not. But how we took it is that it is a fraud which is being perpetrated on the people of Ghana and in particular the people of Osu. Because the acquisition of that place involved only Osu stool.
Okay.
Yes.
You mean the 1921, 1927 agreement?
1921, 1927, 1940, 1951, even 1960, we are the Privy Council. Because the Osu people, we are not satisfied with the amount of money they want to give us.
Okay.
Yes, so we are the Privy Council. Even now, we have sent word and somebody to find out if the Queen actually replied our letter. But our letter and everything, I have it here.
Handwritten or if you like typed
no,
letters?
It is a typed one.
That you wrote to the Queen at the time?
Yes, at the time.
Regarding what?
Regarding the compensation they are giving us, that we said it is not.
But I thought that they said some £4,000 had been paid to whoever owned the land.
Don't mind them bundling that £4,000. You know, what happened was that the Owu in this matter is called William Owu.
Okay.
Yes, he died in 1867.
Okay. What was his role in all of this?
His role in all of this is that all this started after his death, long after his death. He didn't play any role in it. The Owu lives in Osu. He's an ordinary person in Osu, just like, if I say ordinary person, it belongs to a family.
Okay.
But his name is William Owu.
Okay. But are the Owus from Osu?
They are not.
They are not from Osu. Where do they come from?
What happened, that's the history I want to give you, that he betrayed the Osu people during the pool tax ordinance when they said we should pay some amount of money to develop Accra, Lampu, 1839. So he was acting as the interpreter between the natives and then the colonial masters.
Right.
And he betrayed us.
How? So he acquiesced your land. That's what you're saying?
No, he betrayed them, and it resulted in the 1854 bombardment of the southern areas of the Gold Coast at the time. So he was ostracized from Osu. And he sojourned in Accra with the Gbese Manche. So the Gbese Manche gave him a place near the acquisition that we are talking about.
Right.
And he farmed there. So when it is time, he himself doesn't have a child of his own. He never delivered. So when the acquisition came in, the acquisition, in fact, was advertised in 1919, immediately after the First World War. The British tried to annex properties in the form of making compensations and acquisitions.
Right.
Yeah, so a group of people constituted themselves as the Owu family and then presented a bid. So if you look at the claimants, we were about 15 claimants
to that property,
or to the acquisition. So I have all the claimants.
But I can imagine that back in the day when the Gbese Manche afforded the late Mr. Owu, as you say, that portion of land, it was not a habitable space. It was at the outskirts. Is that correct?
Yes, the whole place. In fact, the Accra land is not a fine land at all. Yes. So it was at the time land for habitation. Yes. Accra has not grown much as it is now. It was just pockets of settlements.
But has the government reached out to you, or have you reached out to the government of the day? I mean, this started in the President Kufuor era, President Mills, John Mahama, now President Akufo-Addo. Have you tried to reach out? Have they reached out to you? Because if you claim you are the legitimate owners of that parcel of land, and conversations have started since the 2008s, you should have been in the know.
Look, maybe we will need about 2-3 hours to discuss this matter because we are in the know of everything that goes on in that forest. When we saw the emergence of structures such as the headquarters of the Nestle Ghana Limited, the Noga Hill Hotel, and the rest. Even Barclays, our APSA now, even have properties in the forest along the N1. We were curious. So we went in that we took the Achimota school to court. But in fact, those things that were done, they were not done in good faith.
How do you
because a judgment was secured. And the late Osu chief, Nikinkan Dowona is called William Owu. So he was the one who engineered this giving back land to Alodia owners. But he did it on the blind side of the people of Osu. He was given a certain amount of acres. He took bulldozers there and everything to clear, and even there are people holding indentures in his name.
As we speak?
As we speak, yes, sir.
But the lands then were given to the Osu stool. I've seen another communique from the Osu stool claiming that it should not go to the Owu family, neither you should come to the land should be reverted to the Osu stool. Have you seen that as well?
Who is better in the Osu stool than me? Me, as I'm sitting down here, New Dwekwa, the second. Who can talk about Osu stool better, or who knows better than me in Osu? We were in Osu before the Osu people came. And me, nobody in Osu today can claim he knows better the subject matter, or even, who are they? They are miscreants. I describe them as miscreants.
That's harsh.
Yes, I will use that word for them, because recently they even use officialdom to collect monies that had to come to Osu, which involves the Nigeria High Commission's
the residence.
Residence. And then there's a bungalow that is owned by the Graphic Communications Group and the GCB Bank and this thing. They collected the money, they shared it among themselves and this thing.
Without your knowledge?
Yes, so they are faceless. So those who call themselves that Osu Stool, Osu Jase or whatever, we want them. We want them in their persons. As I'm sitting down here, we want them. So ignore them. Let's go on with our discussion.
At the central theme, at the center of all this conversation, are issues of corruption, are issues of grabbing of state lands, are issues of people taking advantage of, if you like, this seeming division. There's Odotei family here, Owu family here, Osu Stool here. Now I've seen Gamanche and the traditional council also write to say they are going to investigate.
Don't mind them.
And then I've seen Ni Adama Lache saying they are also going to, look into it and all of that.
Adama Lache, his statement has nothing. There's nothing wrong with his statement because he's a concerned Ghanaian, and he's expressing. Even he added a Japa.
Right.
But that of the
traditional council,
the Taki
True the second.
He should mind his business. He has no business in this matter.
Really?
Yes, he has no business. Look, Gamashin has their traditional council. Osu has paramount. We have Osu traditional council. La has their traditional council. Teshin has their traditional council. Likewise Nungwa. Likewise Pung. Likewise Tema, likewise Pampran, likewise Lingo, they all have their traditional councils.
So he should mind his business.
He should mind his business. They are all part of the people who make Accra and the Ghana state ungovernable.
How do you say that?
Yes. How can two chiefs in Ghana issue statements on this matter? Should we have two chiefs? Should we have two chiefs?
Well, there's a question for the God.
So they are lawless people. All of them. They are lawless people.
You think this is a smokescreen, a facade of
it's a smokescreen. Look, you see, you mentioned a series of this thing, but you left out one important one.
Which is?
The terrorism factor.
Okay.
You see, these things that is being done, banded around that, land had been released to a certain family.
Right.
Have you seen and heard of any Owu family?
Well, yesterday, just to place on record, my producers called the lawyers of the Owu family. He declined to be part of this conversation. We also called a chief from the Osu area, I'm told, but he also declined. Lawyer John Odotei represents the Owu family also, so the claim is he declined to join this conversation.
Lawyer John Odotei, he declined because he was talking before.
Right.
And I challenged him. As a lawyer, you need a mandate from the family to speak on their behalf.
Right.
So who is he speaking? When I Googled him, he's not a member of the Ghana Bar Association. Yes, I couldn't find his name in their list.
As in a member in good standing, you couldn't find his name?
Yes, a member, I couldn't find his name. And so, have you heard of any Owu family speaking? Those who spoke yesterday and came out with a communique, including Neil and Tevan Dapwell, they said they don't even know that they have anything anywhere. So if their name have been mentioned, he's also part of the Owu family.
Owu family.
Yes. So what is being done is this. Okay. There are a group of people in Ghana now. They are called land merchants.
Okay.
It is inclusive of surveyors, workers of the Lands Commission, lawyers, workers of the judiciary, and they have come together. And what they do is that they go to the National Archives, they see family names, and they use it as a decoy. Ask yourself, government is releasing land to its allodia owners.
Right.
Now, the conversation is that the forest should remain the forest. It shouldn't be used for any other thing else.
Right.
It should protect the ecosystem of the city and all that. Now, what is the essence of releasing the land to the owners? Is it for their habitation or for their selling to get money so that they can better the lives of their people?
So if I get you right, you are against the release of the lands. You are not in support of it. Is that the indication I get from
Not
you?
necessarily. If I have a land and government are saying, and they said they are releasing it back to me,
Okay.
is it not a good news?
Right.
It's good news.
Okay.
So that one, we have no problem. But they are releasing it as a decoy to faceless people. And we have to be very careful in this matter. You know, they said, see something, say something.
Say something, that's right.
Yes.
That's the new campaign.
Now the terrorists, they are not coming. No. They are with us. Because these lands issues, those who claim that they have land here, it has been released to them, and this is a group of people who control, they are the ones who control all these primaries that goes on in the parties and all that.
So
because
you
the
see
money goes into wrong
a
hands.
certain state capture. A certain capture of state lands by individuals.
Yes.
A group of individuals.
A group of
How long ago did this start? It looks like a cartel, the way you describe it. How long ago did this start?
It is a cartel. You see, it had been in existence from the colonial time, but it has gained so much currency. As at now that I'm speaking, there is a cartel called Ni Odoicho Odoekwao. Okay. It's a cartel. They sold the land to the high-ranking official in government who went to break down the Bulgarian embassy. They don't want to come out with that side of the story.
But they're supposed to be from your side of...
No, that the Ni Odoicho Odoekwao family, it is not our family.
Yours is Odoekwao.
Odoekwao family.
So the Odoicho
Odoekwao is a coined family, Sido family. And they use the Odoekwao family, our documents. You know what happened was that when slave trade ended in 1807, I think the Spanish one is 1811.
That's right.
But British and America, one is March, one is April, 1807. When slave trade ended, our people in Osu, that's the new Odoekwao family.
Right.
One of our ancestors, he is a merchant and deals in slaves. You know the Osu castle is purposely for, trading.
Right. Right.
And it is our people. We migrated from Akwamu. It's our people. Our house in Osu, Anumansa, is 2 years older than the Osu Castle. The Osu Castle is 1664. Our house is 1662.
I see. I'll come to you. Neil Ante van der Poel is joining us. He is the Member of Parliament for the Odotei constituency in the Greater Accra region. Neil, good morning to you and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Good morning.
How does Neil Ante van der Poel suddenly metamorphose to become a member of the Owu family?
Well, thank you very much. And first, let me say good morning. Let me say that the Van der Poel family got together with the Owu family through marriage. My late great-grandmother, Florence Nakwali Kwoti, Mount Flora, after she has left the Van der Poel, the Dutch merchant who was dealing in gunpowder married Niu a second. And they had children. Niu, being a merchant, was very much interested in enhancing the business that Florence Nakwali Kwoti had started with the Dutch merchant Van der Poel. So they got into the trading in gunpowder. They supplied gunpowder to the Ghana for the various wars that they engaged in. And they were compensated with land, including that part and portion of the Achimota Forest Reserve and the Achimota School. She owned so many lands that I wouldn't want to go into detail. You know, in the olden days, when a member of a family gets a land or something property, sometimes you say,
right.
You go and take it. And over the period, those lands have become property of their siblings and possibly caretakers. My great-grandmother, for instance, Kwale Kwate Vanderpoy, or Mount Flora, owned close to 48 properties in Accra. The famous one being the Ajesu House, which was built in 1924 out of the money that the colonial government paid to them for the Achimota Forest. That building is situated at Adabraka, near the All Saints Anglican School and close to the Vanderpoy Ogill Estate Office and the traffic light. I see
that place. Well, for want of time, I want to quickly get into other. I appreciate the historical antecedents that you have dropped, but again, so the government wants to release lands to the Owu family. Who exactly are the leaders?
It's not a matter of government wanting. Let me say this.
Right.
We, because of our patrilineal inheritance, the Owus became the direct beneficiaries of the estate of that marriage.
Okay.
But because we are the grandchildren of the woman who also contributed to the part of the acquisition of those properties,
okay,
we together supported the Owu family to petition government, successive government, since the time of the John Holland.
Okay.
So that we could get part of our land that had been taken and which people were slowly taken away for our current generation to also have a place to put their head.
Okay.
Let me tell you this. If God damns, if all of us will get up and fight for what is our own on our land, we shall surely prevent a situation where people are coming from somewhere and taking our land without any compensation and paying anything to us. We the descendants of Florence Kwale Kwate Vanderpoy and Owu will fight for what is ours by inheritance.
When you say you fight, what kind of fight are you going to be engaged in?
We've been fighting for it through petition to various successive governments. We've not relented. We've been going on this since the time of Jerry John Rawlings. And I think documents, agreements,
your line is breaking. You'd have to reposition yourself for me so we can hear you clearly.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that successively, throughout all the governments since the time of John Rawlings, we presented documents, we presented arguments that support our claim. Nobody, no other family throughout these years has come out with any legitimate claim to the said land.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, where was the Osus to all these years? If they think that it was theirs, why haven't they legally gone to court to fight us over this?
I'll ask you a question now regarding who the forerunners, or if you like, those at the forefront of this Owu family. We tried to contact Lawyer Duse. I don't know if he still represents
Lawyer Duse is still our lawyer.
Does he still represent? Okay, he still represents you, but he declined to have a conversation with us.
Because the family, I am breaking the candid principle of the family to talk about this.
All right.
The family took a position not to comment on this and not to talk about it.
I see.
But I want to set the record straight because it hurts me that as a Gadangbe, when our people have sat down for all this while and our lands have been appropriated here and there, Osus stool is sitting down and all the lands that have been taken as rich area for government official bungalows are today being sold to private individuals to build condos for their own benefit. They won't think about that one.
Okay. Now, I want to know who the forerunners of the Owu family are because Odotei Kwale second.
We have
in the studio.
I have from today. This fight has been fought aggressively by one of my cousins who passed a few years ago. You know him very well. You're a very good friend. Trick.
Right.
Yes, but now George Owu Nilai is our current Owu Mamanche. We have Francis Owu, the legendary artist and sculptor. He's there. And senior members of the family are out there.
I see.
Spearheading it.
Ni, hold the line for me a bit. Let me get some clarity from Odotei in the studio. So, Ni, you heard him. The family is legit. The lawyer is legitimate. And he has mentioned those at the forefront. And he's asking, where were you all this while when they were asking for for the legitimate lands to be released to them?
He didn't know what he's talking about. I'm telling you, Nilante Van der Poel, he didn't know what he's talking about. I've told you here and now that we have gone to court with the Achimota school.
Right.
Yes. By our late chief, Nikin Kandowona. He's also an Owu. He's also called William Owu, who was named after the original Owu.
Right.
Yes. And we have 2 bulldozers. I even told you now that there are indentures. People are carrying indentures on land over there, given by the late Osu chief. So he shouldn't say that, where were we? He didn't even know those who petitioned. He didn't know those who petitioned. He should mention their names. Because as I'm sitting down here,
you guide me who petitioned.
I have petitioned.
Who are the names? Mention the names so I can get clarity.
No, I don't know the Owus who petitioned. I'm telling you that it is a decoy by those who want to grab the land. And you see, when they do that, they put enmity between us, like he's doing now. Instead of him to come and see me or me calling me so that we sit down and see the devil in our midst, he won't do that. He is telling a history that is not true. I said all the acquisition, everything that happened in
maybe
the
acquisition. I see. Hold on
the
for
document.
So I think that along this table we both agree that the divisiveness is what is drawing the Gun State back.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing now, and that's what others are. He mentioned that people are taking the rich land and this thing. Look, the rich land he's talking about, it is called a European residential extension. Okay.
I want to see the plan while you narrate the conversation.
Yes.
Please hold on for me a bit. I need to. I know you have to go to Parliament.
This is the composite plan that was prepared by the Lands Commission.
Is it Johnny?
Sir.
Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please, if you permit me, let me say this. I didn't know it is Neo Odotei who was in the studio.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that I wouldn't have engaged with him because he knew Odotei sitting there today. There has been a statement from the Osu Traditional Council signed by the spokesperson for Numbu Tetete Owu, one of the claimants to Osu's too, that he has not been mandated as a spokesperson for the Osu's too. So I wouldn't want to engage with him.
Well, he is here in his capacity as the head of the Neo Odotei family.
That's the capacity. Those people are the criminals. You see, they are the criminals.
It has nothing to do with the Owu family.
The Tetete is calling, they are criminals. The people you are mentioning, they are criminals. I'm in Osu.
Who? Odotei family?
No, the Tetete is a criminal.
Where does Neo Odotei comes from even Osu?
Look.
You should tell me the house. Which house he comes from?
Oh, I have a house. Our house is just opposite the Osu Castle Junction.
I'm not saying when we say house in Ga tradition.
I said our family house is at the Osu Junction. Inke inja anumansan. Inje Osu anumansan. Ni odwe kwa we. Jamenje. Nilante. I'm
a guy who respects our culture and traditions very well. So, you know something, Johnny?
Yes, sir.
You and I, we are all guys. Right. I respect our culture and traditions very well. I wouldn't want to engage with an elder.
I hear you.
Elder, no matter where he comes from.
So
if he thinks it has legitimate claim, they should take us to court and let us all go and battle in the court.
Oh yes, we'll do that. I can assure you. Okay. We'll do that.
So there's a legal tussle.
I can assure you. I can assure him
that you go to court.
Yes. You see, Nilante Van der Poel. What he's doing now.
Odotei and his people are claiming almost every land in Ghana.
No, you see, Nilante.
They are claiming lands in
Nilante. Let me no. I want to correct an impression. Nilante, the group of people who are the criminals, they have taken. I told you that they have taken our name. They are called the Odotei
family. Okay.
It is not us.
That is not an original name.
And I've taken them.
Is that what you're saying?
I've made them. They are arrested. One Benjamin Teteyemu, and then one Mike Neo Odotei, and then one. They have been arrested at the police headquarters. And instead of the police to prosecute them, because they have dealt with government officials, including colleagues of me, Lante Van Der Poel, they are watering down the investigation.
Okay.
The investigation is at the police headquarters right now.
With me, I wouldn't be accusing you people of going around and claiming
land.
So I said those who are going around to claim
you are claiming Kamashi lands, you are claiming Utublomo lands, you are claiming Pese lands.
They are the criminals. They are not Ogwekwa. I said they are the criminals.
Please hold on for me.
I'm telling you, they are the criminals.
I don't think that
the criminals
is suggesting that you are working with those people who are arrested. It says colleagues of yours, so it will presuppose that they are politicians.
Respectfully,
police of yours, and I have evidence. Look, Ninante. No, Kejule asani akafe. Kejule asani akafe wo wasani.
Kolake oye. All this while Bashia, no one touching of pardon now, no Kawake, in Bibi, Sunday no Kenya, look, no Cheme, Kenya, Luna, Kaluna, Kenya, Kashina, Kaluna, Nilante, Akuna, cannot give me for my
Dabi Bokaba. No Basandi name, but we know Basandi name, Nilante.
Okay,
no, you are Sunday,
1998 or boy.
Nilena crime. Nina no ne fe.
Ninda, Jemmy.
Ole
ko afed okova na papa. Ne papoti le Jemmy. The Chomi was supposed to FN the keke no me legitimate family.
Si
the chemistry, a claim no nipa. Ni okay owubi afekobe.
Si
no me na data na me go.
Nilante
Point ba che owubi e. No touch ni great grandmother pictures. Ni be the document she can think at tram na me accept package. Wo fe wo fita we ku e wo fe
Nilante no cho o yeni ni the mini ntabi ene mi ina na kansoa achole adote kwao mi na kansoa ye imboda a father side adote kwao leji ochambi onupa kenha manchenote kwashi niji dowo na the third os gan sipon sande moko lefele ni miwuni ntabi ene gan sipon sande moko lefe mi to moko aba challenge mi kegbo ewoji ke no fe no kani ne no otomobo no yuo sane ne ba ne na yuo na ya na ba na yuo kani bi kani mene dani minu ogbe akeji gbohun ole noko yo fatai si min kebo ake akela inspon eha owu family. It's a decoy.
Okay, so let's wrap up this conversation this way. I come to you first. So we agree that there's a conversation that must be had, but as Ga people, because you acknowledge that he's an elder, you don't want to go back and forth with him in the public domain, which will be akin to washing your linen in public. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the way I was brought up.
Right.
I was brought up. We say,
right.
So no matter the situation, I don't want to engage with my elder. He's older than me. Maybe older. He's older than me. And even if he's wrong, I wouldn't want to point that out in public. I believe in our culture and traditions. I'm a true Ghana. And I wouldn't want to do that. If there is anything, we can talk about it in the house. If he still so wish that they want to pursue this further, then the courtrooms are there. Then we can go to the court. But for us to engage on TV and radio, I don't think it is in line with our culture and tradition. I will seem to be disrespectful to our culture and tradition by disrespecting my elder.
I see. So for the Ga youth who is watching the show now, who may be disappointed, first of all, because they may not be able to find lands to build. They are now in a position of acquiring lands from other tribesmen who may be owning those lands. What should be the hope for them? Yes, sir.
Johnny, if you remember, I asked this question during the vetting of the lands minister.
Right.
Totally, I am in support of the agitation of my good people of La for their lands to be returned to them. I'm totally in support of my good people of Ada fighting for what is their own. And I will support every Ghana youth fighting for what is our own. Look, if for the sake of the capital coming to Accra, our people are going to suffer this way, they should take the capital to Kumasi and see whether they can do that to the Ashantis. And see whether Otumfuo will allow them to do what they are doing in Accra. Look, why should our youth now not have a place to sleep when we have lands? Today, flooding in the whole of Accra, because you know why? Some people have started virtually sealing off Dansuman, where at the Ramsey site in Dansuman, people are cutting debris to fill the land and building on it. And those people are not gas. Those people are not Gadangwis. You understand me? If it is our own people who are even living there now and they are suffering this, they will understand that they are living on their own land and they are suffering. But now, our people who do not benefit from that, from the grabbing of their own land, are now suffering because the water is now going into their homes and taking over their things. Look at what is happening in Kaneshi. Look at what is happening in Alajo. Look at all these places. Look at what is happening in Nungwa. That Ramsey site, that people we have reserved, our fathers have reserved all this while. Somebody becomes chairman of the Forestry Commission, and then he decides to cut it out and will it to his nephews, nieces, and children. What about the people of Nungwa? As I was talking about Osu, if government took all these lands or the Sioux area to build bungalows for government appointees and ministers, and today government have no use for it anymore, shouldn't they go to the Lodian owners? Is that not what our constitution says? If government took all the basic people's land to build railways, and today government has no use for that land again, should it be other people who come and build shops and stores on that land? Shouldn't they go back to the basic people? I will fight along with my people to get to what is ours.
I hear you.
Don't forget, in Nigeria, the Ogoni people have been fighting all these years for what is due them from the oil deposits in their land. They've died, but people will continue to fight. My other people are now fighting for their lives, for being denied access to their Songo. I will support them, and we shall continue to fight until our people get what is due them.
Ni, I thank you very much for your time this morning, and we pray that all the dust will settle, we'll see the right coordinates, and we'll also get the best for Ga, because we're told that Ga said Gbejigbe. Thank you very much for speaking to us. He's the Member of Parliament for the Odotei constituency in the Greater Accra region. He says he's a member of the Owu family and is determined to see the end of this matter. Well, I have a judgment here. So, Ni Odoka, which year was this judgment granted?
That's the 1927.
1927.
Yes.
Okay. Now, a portion of it reads that it is upon this evidence, which appears to me to have been manufactured, that I am asked to rebut the presumption that the parties in possession of each lands, as being the owners thereof, are lawfully entitled to the same lands, and to say that the Owu family is so entitled. The claim in my judgment has no merit in substance whatsoever, and I do dismiss it. So now this was by the judge.
J. Jackson.
Judge J. Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, so guess what I found here? Judge J. Jackson is the judge in this matter, 1927.
Yes.
Okay, and guess who the counsel for the Owu family at the time were? Mr. Akufo-Addo for first claimant, W.G. Owu. Now, this Akufo-Addo here is not our president. It is our president's father,
yes,
who was also a lawyer. Mr. Akufo-Addo represented in that matter for the first claimant, W.G. Owu. Mr. N.A. Olenu for the second claimant, Ajay Ahano versus the Lamanche. Okay, and then Mr. K.A. Bossman, with him Mr. Quist Thurston for third claimant, Messrs. J.W. Norte and G.P. Akwe in person, and then Mr. Lamte for the fifth claimant, Ni Aite Kobla, and then Mr. Quist Thurston for the sixth claimant, Mr. Aja Abebrensa, okay, Shipi of Anoho Quarter. Mr. Quist Thursing for 7 claimants, Ni Clote, head of Ni Abete family, and Mr. Io Lamte, is that it? For 8 claimants, Bese Manche, Mr. CC or CG Loco. It's quite faint, so I'm finding it difficult to read. For 9 claimants, Mensa, and Mr. CEO Loco, and on and on and on and on. So, well, some people have also raised a concern and say that, well, because the president's father was included at some point, he seems to have an interest in that portion of land. Has that come to your attention? What do you say to it?
You see, what you read, he said the Owu's claim was dismissed.
That's right, by J. Jackson.
By J. Jackson, yes. And so, what they are bundling around should not come in at all, because these documents are there.
But did you, for example, as the Ni Odotei family, and go to the court to enforce this judgment on your behalf?
Do you know the fights I've done? Look, ask me that in this Achimota matter that I've come,
Right.
who have spoken about it and have produced one single document from the presidency, the minister, and all those, the lawyers and everything. Has anybody produced any document? I have my document with me. Ask me, do I know that this matter is coming before? Do you know how I took custody of this document? It is with me for the past 7 years.
Right. And what document is this, by the way?
This is the whole thing about the Achimota acquisition.
Wow.
Prince of Wales.
Can I please have a look
The
at
college,
it? It's quite
the Prince of Wales College.
Okay.
That is now known as Achimota
Achimota School.
And then the this thing, University of the Gold Coast.
Okay.
Now the University of Ghana.
That's what you call Nilegon.
Nilegon.
Okay.
You see?
So this is a true certified copy from the National Archives.
Exactly.
Handwritten and all of that, typed. But this is huge. If you have all of this, and you still have to.
So I have educated myself.
Okay.
In the acquisition, because this document had been with me for the past 7 years.
Right.
Which I have been going to the archives to be reading them until about 3-4 years ago. I made them to compile it.
Okay.
Into this form for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? The land, the government has given indication that because people have come forward to say we want a portion of the land which is originally ours, we are now going to get it. Now you're seeing so many people coming up to say,
do you know how I'm smiling?
No.
Where do we go from here? We'll go home. We'll go to the house.
Right.
Yes.
So you go to the house to have a conversation with.
No, you see, from what is happening is that there is a deliberate attempt to obscure, to bring in things so that the real matter will be lost in this whole discussion.
What things like that?
Fine. If we have a forest and the forest had to remain so, even if it is given to a family, it will still do what?
Remain a forest.
It will still remain a forest. So if it has been given to the Owu family, the Owu family are going to what? Develop the forest. What expertise do the Owu family have in developing the forest? It means they have to engage what? Experts and all that.
Right.
And I'm saying that in our constitution, even here, in this studio, if the government wanted this place, they would take it if it is for the public good. But only they will give you adequate compensation.
That's right. That's what the law says.
That's what the law says. So, what is this bequeathing or returning land to the Alodia owners? Are they going to settle there so that the canopy that we have in the city will vanish? So look, I'm asking these pertinent questions.
Right.
I don't want us to lose sight of the fact that there is a decoy that it has been handed over to the family, and the family are the ones who have dissipated the land by selling it to people, and the people are building. That is how they want to.
So what is the wish of the Odotei family?
The wish of the Odotei family is that if the government really is determining that he is releasing the land, it should not go to any group of people called Owu. It should be the Osu stool.
Osu stool.
Yes, Osu stool. And as the Osu stool, we haven't sat down to even know our late chief did something that the Osu elders are not happy about it by putting bulldozers in the forest and claiming. And
you have a new chief. How is he taking this? What is his forward-looking plan? Do you know?
We currently doesn't have a. You know, the people who come on as chiefs are criminals, and I prove it. How their criminality, they perpetrate fraud on the Osu people. That's why we remain the way.
We cannot independently verify those claims. We disassociate ourselves.
So right now, what is happening that we have 3 purported installed chiefs.
Right.
Yes. There is only one of them who is legitimate.
Okay.
And we will settle that one
and then you can
in the
come
law
to this
courts.
one.
And then once we have done that, we'll be able
have
to
you
proceed.
heard the commentary that when king's men fight among themselves, the pirates come in to loot?
Perfect.
You have heard that?
Yes.
And do you see a fight now and the
And it is
possibility of the pirates looting?
So the pirates, they set the fire. Yes, they set the fire. So if you are not a smart chief, you will fight. But if you are smart, you will be able to maneuver so that you shame the pirates.
I hear you. Neo Odoikwa, thank you very much indeed for coming.
Thank you.
Neo Odoikwa II is the head of the Odoikwa family of Osu. Earlier you heard Nilante van der Puije. He's a member of the parliament for the Ododo constituency. He also claims that he is a member of the Osu Owu family, and he had given us a chronology, a historical antecedent of how he's related there. Well, this matter will not go away immediately. We'll have a conversation after this, the sports and some more conversations. Stay with us. We'll be right back.